All right, here we go. Part two of this episode. This was not planned. Right when we were done recording, AJ Preller dropped with a big bomb of a trade. Adam Frazier, all-star second baseman and outfielder, traded from the Pirates to the San Diego Padres for pretty much nothing about what at least what Padre fans think. Pretty much nothing. Tucupita Marcano, Michelle Miliano, and Jack Sawinski to the Pirates for an all-star position player. I'm sorry, no one's going to tell me that the Pirates won this trade. Ben Sherrington of the GM, is going to say he did, but there's no way, unless all three of these guys are like turned into all-stars. And what we saw Marcano, he just didn't have the bat, but he just didn't have really a spot. But again, the Padres are getting in Adam Frazier is just hits. I mean, he leads the league in hits, or at least the National League. And you literally, I'm trying to figure out where this guy's going to fit, really. Because there's just so many positions that are like blocked right now. When the trade came out, it came out that no major league player on the roster was going to get traded. And so it's like, what? They traded it for an all-star and they didn't have to trade any of the big prospects. Campusano stays, Gore stays, Hassel stays, Abrams stays. They have to trade anyone. But in turn, and all they have to do is give up those guys, which two of those we've never heard of. And Marcano was just blocked. He wasn't going to play in the infield with Tatis at short and Cronenworth at second, Hosmer at first, Manny at third. Wasn't going to play in the outfield, just doesn't have the power. And Jorge Mateo and Brian O'Grady were getting more at-bats and more playing time than he was. So that's nothing. And what you're getting in Adam Frazier, he's hitting 324 this year. Yeah, he only has 4 homers, but he's not a homer hitter. He's a Jake Cronenworth, literally another Jake Cronenworth that they can stick at the top of the order or at the bottom of the order like he did hit in the All-Star game for Dave Roberts. Maybe that's where he fits, Maybe it's still Grisham, Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Hosmer, Pham, Nola, and then Frazier, and that, but did I even include Myers in that? Like, this lineup seems like stacked right now. I just don't know where he's going to play. But first, before we, talk about that, one, every year it seems like we're talking about big trades. We're talking about guys that seem like to be fits. We were saying Joey Gallo, maybe he fits in the outfield if we trade Myers. Talking about a starting pitcher or a reliever to get. And Preller pulls off a trade where I'm not even sure that he fits right now, but he's an all-star. So it's like this is like the Brooklyn Nets. You're just taking team players from other teams and say, you know what? Who cares? We're going to find a place for him. We'll worry about that later. We're just going to fleece the Pirates and just get an all-star again. Tucupita Marcano was blocked. Michelle Miliano. I did want to, have a little bit of background for you guys. 21-year-old high A affiliate, 6'3", 185. I'd never heard of him before. Out of the Dominican Republic, a 3.60 ERA this year in 30 innings, 1.4 WHIP. So that doesn't really stand out to me. Anything that is like amazing that you needed to keep. They already have a lot of pitching at the big league level, so the odds that they were going to have him, in this window of contention the next probably 4 or 5 years, I don't think that would happen. So I don't think, will he turn into this big guy? Maybe, but I think that the Pirates are just, they're just doing this for the upside, really. They're not contending. Frazier is getting older. I think he's over 30. So Jack Sawinski, the other guy, he's an outfielder, a left fielder, 22 years old, in Double-A. Again, his stats don't blow you away. I guess he was having a breakout year, according to someone that knows more about, the minor leagues than I do, at least the smaller names. 15 homers, 37 RBIs, an OPS just under 950. So, okay, you could say, yeah, well, maybe the Padres might want him later. But look, they're trading for that outfielder. He plays infield, plays outfield. This is the perfect versatile infielder that they needed, or actually didn't need. We didn't know that they needed him. We already have Profar who can do both of those things. Frazier is better than Profar. So frankly, I don't see Profar getting much playing time. I think he might get traded maybe at the deadline for pitching, or in the offseason, because I just, with Frazier on the roster, with Kim on the roster, who they signed for $7 million a year, I just don't see much playing time for him. So, I mean, you can't really say that this, trade was like, big, because, or at least, like what the Padres traded, you can't say that it was some like big mistake, because they're getting an all-star. Frazier's contract, he's a free agent after next year. The Pirates are giving the Padres like 1.4 million. So that's going to make Frazier like a major league minimum player the rest of the year. So that's nothing. And they have him under control next year for arbitration, which he probably end up being an all-star. Yeah. He might start if this might allow the Padres to let Pham go, and have Frazier start, because, just because, Myers is obviously going to be there, but that might be an avenue now that Preller saw that, like, you know what, Pham, if he continues like this, he might command too much money. So this might be a scenario where Frazier, you're looking at starting left fielder or something next season. But again, Jake Sawinski, whatever you say, you can send him away. That's not that big of a deal. Tucupita Marcano was blocked. Michelle Miliano, you don't know much about him. The Pirates are buying on the upside. We've seen the Padres do this when they weren't good. They were acquiring a lot of prospects. Some of them hit, some of them didn't. Anderson Espinosa is one of those guys that was, touted. He didn't hit, not he pitches, but he didn't hit like reaching the big leagues. He's still in the minors, still dealing with arm problems. But for me, I just think, what are your reactions for what the Padres gave up? And I just don't see how anyone can come away with this trade and say, yeah, the Padres shouldn't have done this.
I think that's the only reason he did it. You don't really need him per se, but when you offer something like that,
you're not going to just say no to an all-star.
You're not going to turn down an all-star for giving up that.
Yeah.
Two computer Marcano pretty much.
No. Pitching was the biggest priority.
Yeah, I think he's gonna probably split like Profar for something or something like that. I don't see a place for Profar at all. I think he's gonna get split for a pitcher or something. Shocked to me, I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah, now what we need to do is, talk about if who's gonna get blocked, where are you gonna find playing time for Frazier? Because you're not going to sit Adam Frazier. Frazier's not going to be a utility bench player like Ha-Seong Kim. He's going to be playing every day. So that leaves probably Hosmer out, because, Hosmer obviously has not been performing the way that, his contract, is trying to like commands him to do. 140 million. He's not playing like that. Jake Cronenworth, you're not taking him out of the order. He's an all-star. He can play first. You move him over. Frazier's a second baseman. You put another all-star in there. So if you look at it, the Padres have a full all-star infield. When have I ever imagined that? When have we ever said that? Never. A full all-star infield. I'm sorry. Maybe you platoon, but Cronenworth's a lefty. So no, not even platoon. Cronenworth's a lefty. Hosmer's a lefty. I see Hosmer as probably a majority pinch hit, role. If you need Grisham, Myers, and Pham with days off, then you put Hosmer in. That's not a bad option, by the way, because we know that he can get into one at some time. But, putting Pham, Grisham, Myers, I think that's still going to be the outfield. I get Frazier can play the outfield, but his main position's second. So I see Padres Twitter getting what they want. And Hosmer probably sitting out a little bit, for a pretty significant amount of games, and Frazier being the starting second baseman, because everywhere else you're not going to sit Myers with 20 million a year. You're not sitting Grisham, a Gold Glover, top of the order. You're not sitting Pham, who's leadoff whenever a lefty's pitching. Who else are you going to go to? Not Machado, not Tatis, not Cronenworth. Those are your three all-stars. You bring in another all-star. You're playing him. It leaves Hosmer as the only guy. A full all-star infield.
Like having that, you know,
I
for the future.
like, this is crazy. Like, I just can't believe the guy that we have as our general manager. He
He did.
does things. It's kind of like the Clevenger deal. We were talking about smaller names last year, and he brings in an all-star. I get that didn't work out. He got hurt, and he's still hurt with Tommy John. But
He's done more
he
than
does things that like no one expects. We're all talking about this. He's probably laughing. He was probably laughing his butt off listening to people like us, listening to MLB Network, talk about Joey Gallo, and he probably hasn't even talked about Joey Gallo. Like, people are saying he's interested. Okay, maybe he put Josh Stein and Fred Ullman Jr. as assistant GMs talking to, Joey Gallo, or talking to the Rangers about him. But he's doing things that no one's talking about. He's thinking outside the box. He saw Hosmer play every day. We're supporters of him. We think he can, bounce back. But there's no denying that Cronenworth, Frazier, Tatis, and Machado is the best infield in the league. It's something that no one thought could be done or would have been done. No one thought that could have been done, with this. I mean, trading Tucabita Marcano, who's never going to have playing time here. Trading, I don't even remember their names. Michelle Miliano, a starter, and Jack Sawinski. Like, we never heard of these guys. If they, turn into all-stars, good for them. Good for the Pirates. But we have an all-star literally right now with Adam Frazier. So I'm good. This definitely increases their chances of making it deep, of winning the division. Because I take this infield over anyone. It lengthens the lineup. It takes Hosmer out of the lineup, most days probably. I just don't know what else to say. I think this is, let us know, on social media what your reaction to this is. Adam Frazier again traded to the Padres for three guys who probably didn't have that much of a future here. That's the one word that we can think of, fleeced, finesse, whatever. I'd say that the Padres winning this trade is almost a guarantee. And Frazier is just we've added another Cronenworth to the lineup, and you can't say that doesn't make the Padres better.
Not done either.
Yeah, he's not done. Is that pitching? No, but that's something that's going to happen. I think Profar is now movable, if he wasn't already. I think that the offense, obviously, they're not getting Gallo anymore. Their offense is set now. And it's pitching. So that's what to expect. So this was a quick kind of reaction here. Part 2 of the episode. Thanks for listening. And again, let us know what you think. This has been episode 44. Let's go Padres.